Hello students, today we will cover the sixth chapter, that is domains of the earth. Okay, so this is one of the most important chapters in your syllabus. Okay, so students, it is about the different domains of the earth, right? So if you just look around yourself, you can see that different elements like soil, ocean, pond, forest, sky, etc., right? So all these elements are divided into four domains, okay, which are lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere, and biosphere. Okay, so now what is lithosphere? Okay, so the land we stand on is a part of lithosphere. So it is the part where we stand and the outermost layer of the earth. Okay, and students, this layer is basically consisted of rocks and soil. Okay, so our planet is made up of a number of layers, which are basically core, that is the innermost layer of the earth. If you look at the image, okay, just take a look here in the image. You can see this part, that is the core, okay, which is further divided into two parts. You can see outer core and inner core, outer core and inner core. All right, then we have this mantle, which is between the crust and the core. You can see the red colored, that is in the form of molten. Okay, so these are molten rocks, so these are called magma. And then the outermost layer of the earth is called crust, where we live or where we stand. Okay, this is the outermost layer. Then students, we have hydrosphere. The name in itself is a definition, as we know that a hydrosphere, hydros means water, right? So hydrosphere, it is the domain that includes the water sources. It can be ocean, lake, groundwater, streams. Any source of water comes under hydrosphere. But students, do you know that though we have 2/3 of the earth's surface covered with water, but still a very tiny portion of this huge water reserve is available for drinking purposes, because most of the water is in the form of salty form. So we cannot drink salt water, right? That is why a very small portion of the water is used by us, and a large amount of fresh water is also remains frozen in the glaciers and polar ice caps. So we should not waste water. Students, next we will talk about the water cycle. Okay, it is basically the movement of water from land to here and then again back to land from here. This whole process is called as water cycle. Okay, it is basically consisted of three stages. I will show you in the picture. You can see here, you look at it close. These stages are evaporation, condensation, and precipitation. You can see the water is being evaporated. That means evaporation is the process when water is turned into vapor, and then you can see it goes up and comes into a close contact with a colder air, where it becomes cooler. Okay, so when it turns into cooler or turns cooler, okay, it changes into water droplets, and these water droplets, okay, come closer to form clouds. You can see these clouds, okay, and when they become heavy, they cannot stay back there anymore and drop down on the earth in the form of rain, hail, and snow. This is called as precipitation. Okay, so these are the three stages which forms the water cycle. Then again, this water is reserved as groundwater, which is used by us, and some of these waters again goes to different water sources. Alright, so the three stages of water source or water cycle are evaporation, then condensation, and then precipitation. Then students, we will talk about atmosphere. Atmosphere is basically a mixture of different gases that surrounds the earth like a blanket. Even the air we breathe in is a part of this atmosphere. This whole is an atmosphere. It's an atmosphere. And the atmosphere, it extends to up to several hundred kilometers. You can see from here, this is earth, and this whole part is atmosphere. And it is divided into different layers. These are troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and exosphere. So we live in this layer, that is troposphere. Can you see ozone layer? It protects the UV rays from coming from the sunlight. And this plays a very important role, which gives a safeguard to the earth, right? So it is clearly visible that ozone layer is in which layer? If you are asked, you have to answer it is in stratosphere. And stratosphere is just above troposphere. And at last we have exosphere. So these are the layers of the atmosphere. And then we have the fourth domain of the earth, that is biosphere. What is biosphere? The area of the earth where living beings are found is called biosphere. So the area where living beings are found is the biosphere. So you may think that where is biosphere? We have not seen. Biosphere is the area consisted of all the three domains. Atmosphere, hydrosphere, and lithosphere. They all together forms our biosphere. And biosphere supports different ecosystems on earth. Now what is ecosystem? Ecosystem actually a committee or group of living beings and non-living beings where they interact with each other for their survival. So if we talk about an ecosystem in the pond, you can see each and every one is like dependent on each other. You can see the plants which are eaten by the fishes, then frogs, then fishes, and even there are some small insects which are eaten by these fishes and frogs. Then you can see duck eats these fishes and frogs. So thus they are dependent on each other. Similarly, the ecosystem, you can see, the ecosystem in a rice field contains rice plants, other smaller plant species, insects, and in the air. So it is not only about a pond, but ecosystem can be in a forest. A forest itself is an ecosystem. Then the rice field. And ecosystem exists on land, in water bodies, and in the air. So it can be as small as a puddle and as big as a forest. So as I told, it can be as small as a puddle and it can be huge as a forest. So ecosystem has not any specific size. You should remember in this. And this is it, and very important chapter. I think you have understood all the four domains of the earth, and you have to be careful while you are reading the different layers of atmosphere. Then read carefully about the ecosystem and then water cycle. These are very important. So thank you so much for watching the videos. Bye bye.